these common website problems might be killing your ad performance. So when you're running digital ads, typically you're going to point to a website. There are certain circumstances where you're not. This doesn't really apply to those as much as it does the 80% of the ads that we see. It's driving to an e-commerce website, it's driving to a landing page where you want to collect leads, generate a phone call, etc. And we see a couple of things that are almost guaranteed to be done incorrectly, whether it's coming from another agency or the internal team has done it, or maybe they're starting it out for the first time themselves and a rep from Google or Meta is helping them do it. There's a pretty good chance they're not going to have their conversion tracking set up correctly. Everybody thinks that it's easy now. They give you some wizards to kind of walk through it and do it. Unless you know exactly what's happening and you can measure those conversions that are absolutely triggering as they should, it's probably not working, right? If you go through the steps and you haven't tested it to see, did I submit the form? Is there a conversion on the back end? It's probably not working. That's number one. Number two, a lot of times people talk about automation. Well, anytime you want to do marketing automation, it kind of requires if this, then do this type of logic to occur. Well, if your conversions aren't set up correctly to trigger from one to the other, to the other, to the other, there's no automation that's ever going to work. And that makes things really difficult. Imagine if you're doing an e-commerce website and you want to do some type of remarketing for cart abandonment. If none of that information is passing to those platforms, you'll never get the right information in front of them. Another thing that I see that is often happening on these websites, they load poorly. They don't have the right information. They've got JavaScript errors. We actually found one recently on a platform where if you went to the website specifically inside the Meta browser, you wouldn't be able to progress to do a checkout. Now, that's a huge problem, right? If you're running ads on Meta and they're showing the people on their phone and you think you're going to get results and they click it and they can't make anything work because the Meta browser doesn't work with your website, good luck getting those sales. You could have all the conversion tracking you want. Nobody can actually go through and make a purchase. Well, why does that happen? It's because a lot of developers are lazy and they test it on their computer. They never even test it on their phone. If they test it on their phone, they're probably using an emulator. If they actually do test on a real device, I bet they didn't follow all the steps to go through it and test on the platforms where you're actually placing your ads. So if you haven't already figured out, one of the things that I love to do is make sure everything is working. If you haven't been able to test it and see all of your data flowing through like it should be and reporting in the correct dashboards, whether it's a CRM or an e-commerce site, you name it, if you haven't tested it and make sure it's working, it's probably not. If you want to make sure all of your conversion metrics are tracking and that your automation is working and that you're not wasting your ad spend on faulty clicks, give us a call at Meteor. We'll help set you up correctly.